All right. Hello, everybody. I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me and that everyone can hear me. Anyone who's here, uh, if you could just let me know with a little comment saying, yes, I can hear you, or just saying, hi, I can hear you, that would be phenomenal. I hope everybody's doing good. If this is your first time here, welcome to the live stream for It's the Goose, this beautiful August 1st. And if I'm the only one here, no problem. We'll go ahead and cut it up and maybe make it a video later. Um, so yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. Very exciting. We have the Smurfs sort of review retrospective slash review slash retrospective. Um, I did see Smurfs, and I figured that it was only fair to talk about the Smurfs or it was only fair to see the Smurfs because I talked about that, Cat in the Hat, and Hoppers. Which, if you haven't seen that video, you can always go ahead and go to the YouTube channel, and it's the most recent video I posted. It's called "Animated Movies Are in Danger." Um, I'm very curious as to, people had a lot of opinions on the movies, which they thought would be good, which they thought would be bad. I had my own opinion as to how it would be, and well, just to give a little, in case anybody's watching this later, just to give a little recap. My prediction was there would be three, and you can always watch the video as well. Um, there were three movies coming out by three major studios that I thought would have a good chance at dictating the way that animated movies would what would be the trend. So there was Cat in the Hat, which was an adaptation from the book Cat in the Hat. There was Smurfs, which we've seen three Smurfs movies before. And there was also Hoppers, which is a Pixar original, but following how Elio did, which, had a very tough time at the box office. I figure if any one of these hits extremely hard in a good way, then maybe this could be the way that animated movies are going to go. Not in the near immediate future, because any movies that are obviously any movies that are obviously already in the works, or unless they get pushed to Disney Plus or some streaming platform, then of course, we're not going to, they're not going to be canceled outright. But there's a good chance that those movies could sort of set the pace and decide how studios are going to choose which movies. If Hopper's an original movie rebounds from Elio and does great, maybe studios will look at Elio and say, well, this might have just been an abnormality or an anomaly, and go the original route. If it goes to Cat in the Hat, maybe somebody will say, okay, we're going to take a proven entity, try to mix it up a little bit, something like how the Lorax did, and we'll go that way. Or if Smurfs was the one to make a lot of money, they could have said, let's continue the trend of getting old timing characters, putting in celebrities and trendy jokes, trendy things, and we'll continue that way. Well, Cat in the Hat and Hoppers don't come out until next year, but we have seen Smurfs how it did at the box office. The last time I checked, it had done about $12 million. Let's go ahead and see what it is at right now, 2025. All right. So as of right now, looks like it's made 70, let's see, $71 million at the time of this recording is what I'm getting from Box Office Mojo. So $71 million. It opened at, oh, sorry, looks like sorry, 26 million domestic. And yeah, either way, it wasn't what Paramount Nickelodeon was hoping for. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if we're going to be seeing Smurfs come back in theatrical form, at least for a while. So anyway, like I was saying though, the whole reason I wanted to do this is because I don't think it's fair to judge these movies without seeing them. There was a lot of things to take away from Smurfs, Cat in the Hat, and Hoppers, which, I made comments about Hoppers, how I thought the animation and the artwork looked beautiful, but I didn't necessarily like the characters' faces. I think they're just so sanitized and homogenous. It's not really all that interesting to me. I I said about Smurfs, I thought it looked just kind of like, let's do all the business and marketing stuff and put it in a movie and hopefully people will like it, like they have the first previous three. And for Cat in the Hat, I mean, it looks okay, but it still looks a little bit, I want to say, I'm not using a good word, but it looks a little generic. It looks a little cookie cutter, paint by numbers, how a lot of these animated movies are. But, hopefully, unless something super original comes out, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the right movie makes a lot of money. And Smurfs didn't make a lot of money here, so I can't say that I am surprised because of how well the other Smurfs movies did, but I am sort of glad. I'm not glad for anybody who's losing their jobs or who, got fired or anything, not saying they did, but I am happy with audiences that they realized this might not be the most creatively um the most original movie. So I'm kind of happy about that. But we do have a couple things to go over first, and I just want to make sure that anybody can hear me. So if you are in the chat, would you just give me a thumbs up or just a hello? Say that you can hear me. It would be great to know that I'm not just talking into oblivion. That would be much appreciated here. So, yep. But either way, all good. So yeah, we do have a couple things to go over today, which I'm very excited. I guess normally we give about 5-10 minutes of just sort of free talk, let people come in. Um, but I guess I can go ahead and get started unless anybody has any comments. I see semi-oval asked, was it good? Interesting thing about that, I'm going to be doing like a short retrospective, not like one of the half hour. Well, I guess it will be a little long, but we're going to try and stick to an hour to 7:30 here. But it's going to be a short, kind of quick retrospective. Normally, I show stills from the movies. The movie is still out in theaters, so I didn't want to do that just in case it would get copyright stricken for some reason, because from what I understand, you still can get copyright stricken if the movie, I guess, is recent enough, or some companies will do that. So I didn't want to do that. I did have a creative workaround, so I hope that you folks enjoy the retrospective. It's really silly, it's really dumb, but I wanted to do something that's at least a little visually entertaining. And hello to anybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all are doing well. If any of you have comments about the movie or anything I'm saying, please let me know. And if you're here and you can hear me, go ahead and just type the word Smurfs in. Let's see if we can Smurf up this stream. I feel like that's something they would say in the Smurfs movies, right? Um, all right, so we'll go ahead and just get started really quick, just with some channel updates for anybody joining us. I understand this was a little last minute. I know I posted about noon Pacific Standard Time, so I'm sorry if it was a little bit short notice. I just wanted to get out here and get a streaming. I haven't done a stream in a while. I want to start doing them a little more. So short notice, but I hope we'll still have fun anyway. So just a quick couple updates on the channel. What we're going to do here is the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog retrospective, and we'll just take maybe another 5-10 minutes to go over just some channel stuff, and then we'll jump right into the Smurfs review retrospective. So what we have here is the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The retrospective I've been working on since May, and for anybody who isn't privy to it, I've been working on this for months now. It could have been done earlier, but as I was going through the process and I was cutting things out to try and make that every 3 weeks deadline that I give myself, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to stick to that lately with this video, but every time that I had pared down the script, it just didn't come out the way I wanted. And it was disappointing until I decided that about right as we got started editing it, that if I was going to do a video that was going to be very long and there was probably about, I would say, 40 to 50, maybe an hour worth of content in that video, and I wasn't happy with it, I didn't want to shortchange myself or the video or the audience and cut out things that I thought were integral the to the retrospective. So I went ahead, I rewrote the entire thing. I just finished it today, and I'm really happy with it. And I'm gonna actually start audio recording either tonight or tomorrow. And yeah, and once we get that done, then I'm going to go ahead and send it off to the editors. So I know I was going to have done by July previously, the end of July, but for sure I'm going to get it out in the next couple weeks. So I'm really happy about that. So if you are looking forward to the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog retrospective, it's going to be done before the end of July. Count on it, okay? I'm working on the editing script right now. It's going to be a good one. I really hope you folks will like it. It's going to be well over about 40 minutes. Um, but I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to sharing it with you all. So just that. And then one more little quick channel update, which I'm really excited about. So normally, if you're new to the channel, uh, or if you're, you know, a veteran of this channel, what I do is I do video retrospectives of old cartoons, sometimes new ones, and I put it out every 3 weeks. Um, and I wanted to do more because I feel like 3 weeks it's a good time to get the content I want out there normally. But having said that, I also want to do more content for the channel, and I don't want to do something that's going to take time away from writing or having the videos edited or watching the new content to get out within 3 weeks. So I've decided to do something a little different, and we'll try it. So I am so excited to announce a new series for the channel. It's going to be called Sequel versus Sequel. So what is that? So I had taken a poll about a week ago, which about I want to say over 300 people voted. So if you were one of the people who voted, thank you so much. Um, I really appreciate you voting because it means a lot to help me decide what you folks want to see. And the winner was Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. So what this series is going to be from now on is it's going to be me, and I want to do it with another creator. Maybe I'll do the first one by myself, but I would really like to get another creator to take a movie or a series. We could do an episode, but in this case, we'll do a movie, and we both come up with about an 8 to 10 minute sequel to a movie of your folks' choice. And we'll do it, we'll put it together, we'll make a video of it, and you folks decide whose sequel is better. So it's just something different, something to kind of go over movies that maybe I don't review or do retrospectives on because they're a little more recent, but something fun to just keep the creative brain going and something different, something that I haven't seen before where it's a little bit collaboration because I do want to talk to more creators, but it's also a little bit competitive. And I have a couple ideas as how we can how we can reward the winner, but we'll get to that coming up. So that's going to be, I'm still looking for creators. I have gotten in touch with a couple, but it's a little bit difficult to hear back from creators because people are busy. Sometimes people have the messages filtered out. So if you know any content creators that you think would be great at writing a sequel, and again, it's just maybe 8 to 10 minutes of content. Um, Either put them here in the chat, send me an email, or let them know. The best way to get somebody's attention is to post on their page. I can always reach out, but it helps if we have a flood of people messaging and letting them know, hey, get in contact with It's the Goose, It's the Goose. I think it'd be a really fun time. So that's what it's going to be. I'm so excited for it. And Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest is going to be the first one. And yeah, expect that hopefully in between videos, in between future retrospectives. So it's not going to take any time away from the retrospectives. It's just going to be something new, something interesting. I'm excited for it. So with that said, looks like there's not any questions here, but we'll go ahead and get started with the review. So today's movie is Smurfs, 2025 Smurfs. I talked about I talked about it a little bit at the top of the stream, but this movie, to me, this movie looks like something I wouldn't be interested in because one, it's the Smurfs, and that's not a knock against them. I know people love the Smurfs. Um, the box office has said as much. People love the Smurfs. Over $1 billion made on this Smurfs property, which I don't understand it. If you have kids or you really like the Smurfs, um, you know, go ahead and tell me not why, but what is it that appeals to them in what is it that appeals to you about them in this modern day? Because I think a lot of people's idea of the Smurfs is that they're sort of old school where they make the same Smurf puns over and over, but at the same time they they just fill these movies with a lot of corny plots like the live action movies, or they do it with a lot of um, updated, um, you know, updated lingo where they'll say cool things or catchphrases, or they'll bring in modern things to appeal more to kids. So if you do like the Smurfs, I would like to know what about, and I mean the modern Smurfs. What do you like about it? Because there was the comics and there was the cartoon. So what about modern Smurfs do you like? And we're gonna go to a couple comments here really quick. Remember, if you want to support the channel, and have your comment read, the best way to do it is to leave a super chat. But if not, I'm going to try to get to as many comments as I can. An average murder drones fan. Sorry, this is not okie dokie. Not sure what you're referring to. Maybe the movie. Yes, I know Smurfs. A lot of controversy on this channel lately, but we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tell you what I really think about it. Ian, the Peanuts and Sanrio fan, I heard it was bad, like really bad. Well, that's the whole reason I wanted to see the movie is because I had no idea if it was going to be good or bad. I definitely had my preconceptions where I thought it was going to be, you know, like I said, there wasn't going to be any creative integrity behind it. And I will admit, I was surprised at what I watched, what I saw, and I'm not going to reveal yet if it was in a good way or a bad way, but I was definitely surprised. So, has anyone here seen the Smurfs movies, the live action movies, or the recent animated movie that was a couple years old? I've never seen any of the Smurfs movies personally. I think I've seen a little bit of the live action one. When they did go to animation in that first movie, I was surprised and it looked good, or it looked at least faithful. So I kind of held that in good faith. Maybe they are trying to, but I didn't hear much about it. Um, so who knows? Who knows how that one was? But we have this movie today, Smurfs. So 2025. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So if you're just joining us, I'm going to say one more time. Normally, I would use stills from the movie. The movie is still out in theaters, so I did not want to risk getting any sort of copyright claim for having pictures of it. Not that I did anyway, because the movie's out in theaters, so I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. Let's see here. We'll go to one more couple comments really quick. Ian, the Peanuts and Sanrio fan. I just watched K-pop Demon Hunters. It was amazing. I've seen the 2011 Smurfs movie. I didn't mind it from what I remember. I've heard of K-pop Demon Hunters. If that's something you folks would like to see me watch or review, yeah, I would be down to. I've heard only really amazing things about it, so I'm definitely curious. But I'm just working on a lot of projects. But we can always do a stream, or I can always put a short out on it for watching it. So let me know if that's something that you folks would like me to watch. K-pop Demon Hunters. I feel like I don't watch enough new cartoons, so maybe that'll be the one to start. Um, Dr. Nefardio Crack. Question: who is more smarter, Dr. Nefardio or Fard Body? I don't know who any of those folks are. I'm sorry to say, but thank you for joining us. So, um, all right, let's go ahead and we'll get started right now. So, like I said, since we can't have any pictures or obviously video from the movie, I decided to take some liberties to make and maybe I'll do it better next time, but I just thought it'd be kind of fun to take some liberties and pretty much show you what the movie is like as best as I could with minimal time here. All right, so here we go. Um, all right. So, yes, that's right. I put I put so much thought and so much care into presenting this for you folks in the most honestly realistic way to represent this. And I would say this is pretty darn close to how the movie really is. Um, so the movie begins with there's four books that evil wizards want, and they keep the universe in balance. They're grimoires, and one of them gets away from the evil wizards. There's four evil wizards, and they want the books so they can take control of the universe and take out all the goodness. And the one book that gets away is rescued and hidden in Smurf Village. And we cut to the Smurf singing the happy song, the happy Smurf song. But then, they sing the conventional way, la 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 la. But then, right in the middle, Papa Smurf, you see his brass knuckles, and he starts scratching on some turntables. Yeah, he started. Yeah, I just is that still a thing like that they're going with the cool like updated characters? Like these aren't your grandpa Smurfs. These are the cool new Smurfs. I mean, just I I'm trying not to get too over the top about it, but we've seen this a million times. We've seen like I remember the first time I saw any kind of old person who was cool or that did this, it was like the rapping granny in I think The Wedding Singer when she goes hip hop hip. Like that was okay, that was like, whoa, this old lady's crazy. But now anytime you have an old person acting cool or acting hip with the times, we gotta kind of abandon that trope now. I don't know, maybe people think like, whoa, that is cool. Or maybe the kids, like maybe the youngsters think it's pretty neat. I'm okay off that though, going forward. But here's the thing about this. The Smurfs world, and I've never seen this before. In the commercials, it looked, I thought, pretty good. Like I thought the lighting, I thought how the design is fine. The design's always good on the Smurfs world, but this actually didn't look as good as the trailers, like the setting made it seem, or the graphics, like even on the Smurfs. Um, it looks like the colors are still bright, but they're a little bit washed out, which I that's the best way I can explain it. Like the colors are all bright, but it almost looks like it's shrouded in a little bit of darkness. So I don't know what happened in between the movie trailers and then the actual movie itself. I just thought that was very strange. But of course, we get to the dance scene, the obligatory dance scene for kids with the characters, and it's to Rihanna's new song. Now, I brought this up before. This movie was promoted on the back of Rihanna, the famous singer. And the first thing you see in that movie trailer is that Rihanna is playing Smurfette. And I hope I represented that well here. If you don't know which one it is, Smurfette is the one on the left, with Rihanna's head in the dress. So this was an interesting choice. I know that sometimes animated movies have celebrities, but I couldn't figure out why they were pressing. So I know Rihanna's famous, like really famous, but it still didn't make sense to me. Like she's not enough of a selling point, I don't think, as a voice actress or an actress in general. And then they pushed, oh, all new music by Rihanna. Okay, well, you're not going to hear, I don't think, all the new music. You're not going to hear that much new music, I don't think. And um, even if you do hear a lot of new music, it's going to be for like maybe 30 seconds, a minute, because unless this is a musical, you're probably just not going to be hearing a lot of it. Or if you do, it's going to be characters talking over it. So it was just a strange choice to like, oh, this is Rihanna's new music, but is it going to be the kind of new music that fans of Rihanna really are interested in? I mean, I guess if it's your favorite singer and you just want to hear something new, great. But for me personally, I think I just rather wait till the soundtrack to hear it instead of having to sit through this hour and a half movie for less than 2 minutes of Rihanna's music. But, to each their own. Um, so of course, after everybody gets done dancing, Papa Smurf comments with a really cool phrase. Now that's what I call a banger. All right. We have No Name Smurf, who is on the right, which I had no idea. I had no idea that James Corden was in this movie. For as much advertising and as many voices I recognize, I don't think I ever had heard James Corden's name listed on the poster, in the trailer. I had no idea. So I was really surprised to hear him. And he's sort of the main character of the movie, but kind of not. Like there isn't one main character. I'll get to that in a little bit. Um, let's see. We got Yagoshi 300. Smurfette saw diamonds in the sky. I am surprised there were not a lot of Rihanna puns in here, but I do respect and I do appreciate that. So thank you, Yagoshi 300. Um, so yeah, James Corden is in this movie, which was a big surprise, and I hope you can tell that he's the one on the right. So yeah, either way. I mean, Rihanna was pressed so heavily. I'm at least willing to give her a shot in this movie, see how her voice acting is. Maybe it's something she's really passionate about. I don't know, but that's the kind of mindset I was going in with. So um, there actually are some funny jokes in here. The first one, which I was surprised came so early in the movie and really gave me hope for the rest of it, was No Name's problem is he's not really good at any one thing like most of the Smurfs are. So he sort of is just kind of sad about it. And he lists off a bunch of the Smurfs. Oh, Hefty Smurf, he's strong. And we look over to Hefty and he's punching a tree. And, Worried Smurf, he's always worried and he does something worrisome. But the ones I did like, he goes, there's Camouflage Smurf. And camouflage Smurf, he comes off like the wall and he goes like, I'm camouflaged. And then there was out of focus Smurf who walks in front of him, but he's all blurry. And then way back there Smurf who is just very far in the distance and he goes, I'm back here. Like that was funny. Like that's actually kind of a funny take on these old, Smurf like Brainy Smurf or any of the other Smurfs. So I actually thought that was pretty funny, and I'm like, wow, this actually might be sort of paying respect, paying homage to the original Smurfs, but updating in a way where it's not brass knuckles and turntables, but instead in a way where it's, hey, we're kind of like making fun of how weird this world is, but we're still respecting the world as it is. So that was a funny joke. That gave me hope for the rest of the movie. Um, so they do say one thing: No Name Smurf really likes magic. James Corden Smurf, and Papa says Smurfs can't do magic. So I thought it was pretty apparent. A couple minutes in the movie, we're going to be seeing a lot of magic from No Name Smurf. But so No Name Smurf and Rihanna Smurf, Smurfette, I mean, um, they're best friends, and she explains, hey, you can be whatever you want. I used to be a bad guy Smurf made by Gargamel, and now I'm good. Okay, but here's the thing: we've gotten that story a million times, which isn't the problem. But man, I don't know anything about Rihanna. I can recognize a song or two, but her delivery is sort of just flat in the whole movie. Like there's never any highs or lows. It doesn't matter if she's flying through space. It doesn't matter if she's feeling sad about something. She has the same delivery all the time. And I don't want to say that it doesn't matter because I think it does matter. I think you want to give your characters a wide range of emotions. But throughout the movie, Rihanna either gives encouragement, or sorry, Smurfette. Um, I'm looking at her right now. Either Smurfette gives encouragement to No Name Smurf or some other Smurf, or she's just sort of explaining what's happening at the top of the scene, and then everybody else does the heavy lifting. So she doesn't really get a ton of lines. She gets a good amount of them, but not as many as someone who the movie is being based off of is getting. So if you're a big Rihanna fan and you want to hear her music or just her lines, I guess I would say check it out. But if you're just there for the Smurfs, you're gonna get plenty of Smurfs. Um, so uh, the movie does actually look pretty good at points too. The settings, some of it time it looks okay, but other times it looks amazing. Like it looks really cool. It looks really stylized in sort of a comic booky kind of way, like the original Smurfs were. So it's hit or miss as far as that goes. More on the hit side, more on the average to really great. So I'll give it respect. Like for some reason, somebody in Hollywood really cares about the Smurfs and at least in animated form and makes them look really good. So apparently, this movie is sort of a musical. And we get James Corden singing a song called Always on the Outside. And I have to say, of everything in this movie, this surprised me the most. This song is way above what I expected from this movie. I didn't know, first of all, that it was going to be a musical. I don't know if anybody else did. I know it said new music from Rihanna. So I thought, okay, well, Rihanna is going to be singing, or there's going to be a lot of backing tracks with Rihanna. But no, the first song goes to James Corden, and it's a great song. I'd argue that it's the best part of the movie. It's a really touching song about not knowing who he is, or not knowing who he wants to be or what he is, and it's shot beautifully. He's going through. I would say if you're gonna watch anything from this movie, go online and check out James Corden's song. It's great. As somebody who I wasn't trying to be overly critical, I was trying to be honest when I was going over the trailer. This part where he's singing, this was not in the trailer. This was not what I expected. We got Rihanna, we got Smurf puns, and we got some slapstick humor. And already we have a scene with a lot of heart in it. So color me impressed. Color me impressed. But yeah, it's easily the best part of the movie. So as he's going, the book that escaped from the four wizards overhears him saying that he wishes that he could have magic. He wants that to be his thing. And lo and behold, his wish is granted without him knowing, and he can suddenly shoot magic from his hands. And he comes back to Smurf Village. And I like this one. I gotta admit, I do like this slide. He comes back from Smurf Village, and once he uses magic, it opens a portal that alerts the other wizards where Smurf Village is, and specifically Gargamel's brother, excuse me, Rosamel, who is in the trailers, which I just kind of assumed that was a redesign for Gargamel. I'm not a huge Smurf fan, so I wasn't aware he had a brother named Rosamel. And yeah, it was they take up Papa Smurf, and Papa Smurf says, "Make sure you find Ken," who of course they don't know who Ken is. They also do this thing in the movie too, where they have thought bubbles, which it's just what it sounds like. It's cartoon thought bubbles, but they pop up and they have little, not jokes in them, but they say like, "I love you, infinity plus one." It'll show the infinity sign plus one in the thought bubble, and they can sort of acknowledge it. At one point they push one over and it breaks, but they don't acknowledge it in a way where they respond to the break. So it's kind of like this weird kind of fourth wallish thing. um, but it's cute. It's used a lot, but not in a distracting way. um, so I also have to say one other thing about the Smurfs before we go on. They are endlessly less obnoxious than I thought they'd be. Like, they are still kind of silly, but they're likable. They're a little boring because I think they only each have one personality type to them. So you can never have too much depth with the Smurfs, but it's still pretty entertaining. It's like still 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 fun to watch, especially because they go in a group. If it was just Smurfette and No Name Smurf, I think that would get pretty old pretty fast. But at least they have a good little collection of Smurfs there. And socio-romanticism, Smurfs, I am behind. Well, welcome. We just started talking about Smurfs maybe 10 minutes ago, so you're not too far behind. Just to recap, four wizards want a book to take over the universe. It escapes the Smurf village. No Name Smurf, played by James Corden on the right, get wishes for magic powers. The book gives it to him without him knowing. And Papa Smurf gets abducted by the evil wizards, who now know where everything is. So I hope that catches you up a little bit, socio-romanticism. And we'll go ahead and continue on. So they are supposed to go find Ken, who they don't know who Ken is. They play a record from Papa Smurf because he's a DJ in this world, and they go on a magical space adventure. They go flying through space, and it does look really good visually. But here's the thing. See, there you go. It's like you're watching the movie, isn't it? So they go flying through space, and it's a pretty cool scene where they're actually leaving trails through space, and I guess they're okay to breathe up there, which is good. Um, but they do go through space, and it looks great. But here's the thing that I don't know why they keep doing this. They take it to go find Ken, and for some reason, this portal spits them out in, that's right, once again, oh, I guess, well, I'll tell you where they get in a minute, where they get spit out in a minute. But Ramazel asks his assistant Joel, who, if you saw any of the posters, he's the guy with the headset and it says, "Oh, he's so cringe," which a lot of people were, I think, thinking was influencer Smurf, or the influencer kid. He's not at all. He's actually a college intern interning for Razmel, who's on the left. Um, which he's not an annoying character at all. He's okay. Yeah, it's just I think this movie is so. I think the movie was so hampered by its marketing because the marketing just made it seem like, as I said before, it's just the trendiest movie. We're gonna have cool Rihanna music. We're gonna have celebrity voices. We're gonna have all the stuff that kids like nowadays. When really it's just I think people would like to see a good movie. And so far there's nothing objectionable here. It's not a terrible movie or anything. It's not, it's not the most exciting or original movie yet, but it's fine. It's an entertaining movie. Um, so I do like Ramsel because he is evil, but he's also very competent, as we'll go ahead and see later on. But in a moment of incompetence, he tries to get the Smurfs, but accidentally brings back Gargamel on the right. And I do, I do have to say, I am surprised at how much they seem to care about the story. Like Rosamel is a cool new villain. I've never known about him before, but he's cool. He seems very evil, like where Gargamel's kind of bumbling and easy to be taken advantage of. Rosamel seems like he's got more of his head on his shoulders, and they're brothers, as stated before. Um, so what happens is, so the Smurfs end up, and I can't believe I'm saying this, like the movie up to this point is okay and fine, and this doesn't change anything, maybe, but it's just sort of you have almost PTSD from where they're ending up here. The Smurfs end up, that's right, in the real world again. I do not understand what people, these executives, why do they want to see the Smurfs in the real world so bad? Why do these writing teams? I don't know. It can't be a writing team thing. I hope not. But why are they always trying to put the Smurfs in the real world? They've done that before. It's been done. I don't know if they're gonna think, wow, it's pretty neat that um, the Smurfs are in the real world, huh? And to their credit, they do stay in their normal animated form. They aren't like the 3D animated Smurfs. But why? Why do the Smurfs keep coming back? And they get spit out in Paris, but they are obsessed with the real world in a way that they don't need to have them in the real world in this movie. Ivan Sanchez, the thing that annoys me of animated movies, it's the addition of pop culture. I agree 100%. And there's ways you can definitely do it where it's like a subtle nod or like the first Shrek movie. I know it gets made fun of a lot. Go back and watch it. That is a great movie. Like Lord Farquaad's castle where it's sort of like Disneyland where they see the little singing presentation with the little wooden guys. That's fun. Like that's a cool little Disney, sort of Easter egg reference. I mean, there's ways you can do it, but it's just I don't you know I don't want to go into it too much, but to this point, there really hasn't been that much about pop culture aside from Papa Smurf being a cool DJ and having turntables. So they go into the city and they find city Smurfs who are just there to get the Smurfs to the next point, which is into a nightclub. The Smurfs hop on people's ankles to get in there. And one thing I did appreciate that I thought was pretty cool is they have to jump into a disco ball to get to the new where the Smurfs live. I don't know why. It just kind of looked cool. Just like the idea of the Smurfs passing through a disco ball on a crowded dance floor to get where Ken, Papa Smurf's brother, is. Now, I didn't have like a lot of ability to get pictures or video from the movie, but I did do a representation for any of the celebrities that we got in here. So Ken, Papa Smurf's brother, is played by, that's right, Ron Swanson himself, Nick Offerman. By the way, if you ever thought you would see a picture like this, not just in this stream, but at all, man, I owe you a lunch. So yeah, Papa Smurf's brother is Ken, the one they were looking for to help them. And this is the point where up to this up to here they hadn't really done this a lot, if at all. This is where the Smurf puns. It's a little back and forth about, you know, I'll Smurf your Smurf. That's a literal line from the movie. I'll Smurf your Smurf. And I get it. It was part of the charm of the original cartoons, but I'm gonna give it a pass here, I guess, because there wasn't an exorbitant amount of Smurf puns. At points there are. I Smurf my pants, which happens in the movie as well. But it just when it comes at you all at once, it's pretty overwhelming that we're getting so much Smurf talk. Um, so so we figure out, Papa Smurf apparently abandoned his brother Ken, which we know isn't true, which can't be true. I would like to see one time in a movie where they go, "Oh yeah, I can't believe he abandoned us," and they go, "No, it's not possible. It's not true." And then and then at the end of the movie, they find out, "No, yeah, I did abandon him, and I'm not sorry." Just we're gonna go with that trope one time. Um, so there is a funny part where they do have to teleport to Rosamel's castle. So No Name Smurf, played by James Corden here, if you're just joining us, tries to do the magic to teleport, and he switches Ken and Rihanna Smurf's beard. So now she has a beard and he doesn't. It was a cute little joke. But Oh, also, his magic breaks the glasses around, so he breaks like one person's glasses, one person's mirror, and Hefty Smurf has a heart tattoo on his arm, and that cracks in half. I thought that was a good joke. So surprisingly, surprisingly good jokes from this Smurf movie. Like not all the time, but it's not. There's nothing really bad here. There's no offensive jokes. Not offensive in a way like I'm offended by it, but offensively bad jokes. So I'm actually pretty impressed with how many hits they're getting out of me up to this point. So hopefully it keeps going well. Um, but here's one of the things again that it's like they have a good joke like that, a couple good jokes, and they have to bring it back to modern day. They have to have a reference to something, which somebody was saying, Ivan Sanchez, that annoys me of animated movies, it's the addition of pop culture. And here's where you would be annoyed because um, Gargamel comes up to Rosamel and he says specifically, he goes, "Oh yeah, I found the Smurf village. Didn't you check my emails?" And Rosamel goes, "What are you talking about? I didn't check your emails." "Oh, I sent you a lot of emails." "All right, I blocked you on email." "Why do you block me on email?" It's just this back and forth. And I'm not a big fan of these jokes because it doesn't do anything. It just feels like filler. They're not real jokes. I get that they're sort of observational, like, oh, hey, they're not so different from us. Evil wizards are just like us. They send email, they block, they have family problems, which is okay to a point, but you gotta stop this Smurfs movie. You gotta stop. You gotta stop this animated movies in general. Uh, but I do like that Rosmel does call the Smurfs blue rat monkeys. I thought that was kind of funny. So the Smurfs need help. They escape, or they're trying to get to Gargamel and Rosamel. So of course they take the portal, and it takes them to, you guessed it, Australia. Because why not? Why not go to Australia? It feels like they're just going like as far as they can from just point to point. And it's funny because half this movie, I wrote this down when I was watching it. Half this movie is the Smurfs traveling. They start out in Smurf Village. They travel in space. They yeah, they travel in space. And once they're in space, then they travel to the disco ball, in Paris. Then once they're in the disco ball, they travel to Australia. I feel like a good third of this movie is the Smurfs just going places, which it's okay. That's all right, but that's a lot of travel. That's a lot of time to be spending not doing things and just moving around from location to location. Um, so the Smurfs end up going to Australia, where they meet the Snooterpoots, who are these little um, yeah, so this is yeah, so the Snooterpoots were these little kind of cute like Weebles wobble, but they don't fall over. These little fuzzy guys with big eyes. That was the best. the best picture I could find that sort of represented them. But they take advantage of international travelers, who the Smurfs are in this case. But you're not going to believe it. Their one weakness that they love is they love cake. I said this in the trailer review, or kind of look at the trailer. They just cannot too, for some reason, I guess, which is touched on one last time at the end of the movie, but it's just in the way, like, why are some of these decisions being made, which is kind of funny. But No Name runs away when he's supposed to be the one to use the magic to get them to Rosamel, and all he has to do is believe in himself, Rihanna Smurf says. And we actually get our second song, and it's really out of place because it's not um like, oh my goodness, what's his name, James Corden Smurf song. I'm sorry I keep calling them James Corden Smurf and Rihanna Smurf. It's just seeing them on the screen here is a little bit distracting for myself, and plus that's pretty much who they are. They're not really, you know, they don't have a lot of personality other than being the voice actors. um James Corden's performance is okay. Rihanna's is just a little bit lifeless, but she sings a song, and it sounds like a song that would be better as a backing track, as long as they just explored rather than her singing it during their adventure. Um, it's not as good as the first song. It's okay, but it just sounds like, a pop star singing a song for a kids movie. Um, and really, it was just I would like to see the contract that Paramount had with Rihanna. Like, okay, we're going to pay you X amount of millions of dollars. You're going to give us new original music for the Smurfs movie, and you'll do a voice, and we'll just, send Brinks trucks of cash to your house. Which, hey, more power to her for getting that kind of money. It didn't really work out to this point, financial wise, for the box office, but just kind of feels like that was the idea. Like, we'll just, how do we sell the Smurfs movie? Get a celebrity, get Rihanna. All right, I guess we're gonna do that. Um, and it's cool. It's like they float around. They're in space. They float around. They're just kind of doing their own thing, and yeah, they finally come back in these kangaroo pouches because they're in Australia. Um, which again, it's just kind of like moving around. It's a lot of moving around, but not a lot of doing a lot of things. It's moving and traveling. Um, So the Smurfs and the Snooterpoots are captured by Ramazel, who, again, this is I feel like I'm a broken record. Every time we get good jokes or good Smurf parts, they feel like they have to break it up with something. Oh, and you're gonna like this after, but they have to break it up in this case with something that's product placement. So he captures the Smurfs and he's happy about it. And so he requests his assistant Joel to get him a clamato, which, if you don't know, it's a tomato juice and clam drink. Which I just kind of shook my head and like opened my eyes. I closed them and opened them again because I swear I thought I misheard him say something else, but he said clamato. So I guess in this world, Ramazel of the Smurfs wants clamato. It's baffling why. And there's going to be a little more product placement that's just, I can't even understand why. But we'll go ahead and see in a second. Um, so yeah, so Rosmel is cool. Like, he's a good villain. He's a good villain. It's nice to see him with Gargamel. Gargamel, I feel like, is that little more old school kind of bumbling villain. Rosmel is actually pretty efficient, which I like to see. It's nice to see that these two are coexisting, and it makes it feel like, Gargamel's not going to slip on a banana peel and the Smurfs are going to get away. No, Rosmel actually is going to get away with this potentially. And Rosmel, there's a weird, again, another weird joke where Gargamel is holding their father's ashes in an urn, and he's holding his ashes in an urn, and Rosmel says, "Oh, those are Dad's ashes. Sometimes I sneak them into Joel's protein shake, and he drinks them." That's that's strange, right? That's a strange joke. It's not just me. Um, and we'll get to a couple comments really quick. Um, let's see here. Pedro Rivera, when are we going to get the Snorks movie already? LOL. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm actually kind of shocked we haven't. That seems like the next logical step. Um, Ivan Sanchez. This is why Jeff Smith from Bones Comics didn't move forward with the movie years back because of this type of BS. Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. I thought it was because Netflix like kind of closed their animation division or downsized it a lot. Because I know it was greenlit for a while. Um, Ivan Sanchez. What makes funny with the whole A-list celebrities casting is they come cheaper since promoting the movie will give those behind the movie or series a bonus. Yeah, I mean that's what of course the double-edged sword here is that it takes too long to read their lines and will not show emotion. Yeah, I mean really it's what you're sacrificing is you have a big name who's going to bring a lot of box office draw potentially, but it's not going to be at the same quality as a professional voice actor, which I mean that's the risk. Sometimes it works. Look at you had Katy Perry as Smurfette at one point, and you have Neil Patrick Harris, and you have these people who I get that was a live action movie, but you have look at Sing, look at the Sing movies, Scarlett Johansson, all these famous people, and that seemed to work out pretty well for them. But in this case, it didn't. Look at Scoob. Scoob had Zac Efron and Will Forte and other folks, and not really the same hit that they were looking for. So they get the Smurfs. Rosamel, he betrays. Well, almost. So they're gonna smash the Smurfs unless they tell Rosamel where the book is. And there's kind of a funny part where the book actually is under No Name's hat, and he finds out, oh, so wait, was that even me doing the magic? No, the book was actually doing the magic the whole time. And there's a funny line where Smurfette says, because they bust in on Rosmel, and No Name is so confident with his magic that he does a little moonwalk. And so Smurfette says, well, the magic might not have been yours, but the moonwalk was. And the book goes, actually, that was me too. I like that. That was cute. That was funny. Um, so Smurfette, Rosmel, of course, being tricky, he goes, Smurfette, don't forget who you really are. He shows her a photo album of them spending time together because, of course, she comes made from Gargamel. So she has this conflict, which about who she really is, which I am disappointed and shocked at that. Are we really bringing in the sides? He doesn't want his brother to get all the glory and to, beat the Smurfs on his own. So he left. Are we bringing in the conflict, the inner conflict of who is she really? Is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? I felt like that was such a to make her inferior. And then by the middle, he goes to the Wizard Council and they keep making fun of him and he keep making fun of them and he traps them and he takes all their books. So what I appreciate about that is, it's not Gargamel this time, which if you wanted to have Gargamel do this, that's fine. But I do like that it's a little different where if Gargamel's going to be goofy and mess up a lot, I like Ramazel being efficient and he's very effective and he actually gets all the books. He actually traps the council. He captures the Smurf. He's doing everything right. And I like that. I like seeing a villain actually succeed and kind of start to, make you wonder. I mean, obviously it's a Smurfs movie and it's a movie in general, so the Smurfs are going to win, but it's nice to see the plan go more in his favor and the Smurfs fail rather than the other way around. So the Smurf goodness, they're battling in space in a portal, and the Smurf goodness is taken. So Papa, Smurfette, and No Name are the only Smurfs left. And Smurfette pretends to be bad, like she really remembered who she was to get the book back. And they do a cool little thing where they run through a portal, which takes them to different dimensions. There's one where the Smurfs and Rosamel are in claymation. Then pencil drawing that kind of looks like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The old Smurf video game, which was on not Atari, I don't know if it was Atari or some old console, but it was actually faithful to the game, which that was a deep cut. I'll give them a lot of props for that. That was a really deep cut. It was pretty cool to see. And then they do an anime one, which was okay. It looked all right. I know it's kind of been a thing lately where, to kind of test out, like, hey, what if the Smurfs looked like this? What if they went to this? Like, kind of reasons for changing up the art style, which I feel like is also now sort of a trope. It's sort of unoriginal, but I did like it's always cool to see. It's always neat to see. I wish they'd gone a little more um, bigger with that because it felt like a little bit we're kind of doing this just to do it. So I would have liked to have seen something more intense, but I still appreciated it. Um, So Rosmel ends up tricking them, getting the book back, and he's getting all the Smurfs and all the goodness of the universe taken out so he can take over the universe. And here's what happens. No Name gets the magic back. And it just sort of comes to him um, from 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 what I could gather. He just sort of believes in himself and he has magic. Um, and he decides it's good enough to make everybody come back to take everyone out of the portal that they were captured in, and they sing the happy song, and he just they all just kind of beat Rosamel with the power of love, question mark, because I'm not they just kind of beat him. There's not it just feels like they kind of wrapped it up like he was so good at this, and then all of a sudden No Name Smurf just kind of takes him out, and that's it. It's sort of anticlimactic. It doesn't make a lot of sense because they don't explain why he gets magic all of a sudden. I guess the magic was within him. It's just I'm saying all these cliche things about magic because I don't know how he got the magic back, and he was just able to teleport the Smurfs back, and they all sing and they all beat him up, and they send him to another dimension. Uh, there was a funny part, and there might be kids here, so I won't say it. But he does. They ask him, okay. He goes, I think I have the perfect name, and they go, what is it? And he goes, Kick, and then there's a bleep, Smurf, and the bleep is to bleep out a bad word, and it's actually from Sound Effect Smurf who bleeps it out because it's a bad word. And he goes, oh yeah, you know what? You're right. That's a bad name. I don't know what the, and then he beeps it out because it was another bad word. I was thinking, and everybody's kind of surprised, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that." But he goes, "No, no, no, I said Smurf. I don't know. I was saying I don't know what the Smurf I was thinking." Like that was funny. Like that was a good joke. And so he decides to be known furthermore as Magic Smurf. Um, and I just want to make sure that everybody can still hear. That we're still running um, not buffering too hard or anything because it's been a while since we've done a stream. Uh, but he comes to be known as Magic Smurf, which is nice. It's a nice thing. And Ron comes back with them, and of course they have a dance party with all the other Smurfs and all the four books. And at the end, Rosamel is trapped in another dimension, and Gargamel now takes over. And Joel is his assistant, of course, with his cat. And that's the movie. That's Smurfs in a nutshell. We'll read some comments really quick before I give my Ivan Sanchez. It's like the third time they do that with Smurfette Move On. I gotta agree, and I get that she's the most different Smurf besides Papa, but I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of Smurfette in general. At least that's good. That explains the video game level between John Goodman, who played Papa Smurf, and the other Smurfs around. So it wasn't a Rihanna movie. It was a movie that had Rihanna in a prominent role that wasn't really prominent in the movie, but I felt like that was misleading. I felt like the kind of humor where we're used to seeing all the Smurf puns. Oh, I'm feeling blue today. Oh, what the Smurf? I smurfed my pants. I feel like that was overblown because even then there was a couple scenes and a couple jokes where that was something that happened, but it wasn't the central type of humor. There were actually some pretty good jokes that I thought were in there. Um, Gargamel wasn't the main villain. In fact, he was kind of sidelined. He kind of played second fiddle to his brother Rosamel, who was a good villain, who I enjoyed. And he was cool. Like I would like to see Rosamel come back. Um, there's some, of course, trendy stuff, the Smurf dance scenes, the modern music, and a couple of them, and it was just a very different movie than what I expected. So here's my actual final thoughts on the movie. Those are the final thoughts. Here's the review. 2025 Smurfs, not bad. Not not like a great kids movie. Like not a movie that's going to be really thought provoking. Not a movie that's going to be really challenging or anything. It's okay to sort of coast on certain things. Not wholly original. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, where it's every movie has to be this amazing work of art. But maybe it's because my expectations were low. But for considering what this movie I thought it was where I thought it was going to be this totally horrible movie, and it was just this. kind of average movie. So if anyone else has seen Smurfs, please definitely let me know what you think, or if you see it later, um, definitely let me know. But that's pretty much it for the Smurfs movie. Um, I want to know, does anybody else have anything to say about this? What are your thoughts? Are you surprised that the Smurfs movie actually, at least according to me, wasn't as bad as I thought it would be? And I hate to say it because I hate to use the word bad when it comes to a movie, but are you surprised that I gave it such, passing marks? Or do you want to see the Smurfs movie now? Or do you think I'm completely wrong? Because again, I would love to know anybody who loves the Smurfs, why, or why you want to see this movie, or why you don't want to see this movie. I could tell you why I didn't want to see the movie, but now having saw it, it's harmless, inoffensive. And I'll just go over one more time, just a couple things. Thank you again for everybody who stuck through. I appreciate you coming through, even if just popping in and saying hi. I hope you had a fun time. I hope you enjoyed the graphics that I made. Maybe I'll do that for another one coming up sometime. And I do want to live stream more. So yeah, and don't forget, I'm going to go over this one more time, but we do have, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog retrospective is going to be coming out before the end of the month. Um, so get excited for that. That's probably going to be about 40 minutes to an hour long. It's definitely my most involved retrospective. I can't wait to put it out, though. I can't wait to see what everybody thinks about it. Hopefully, good things, but if not, I understand. Sonic the Hedgehog is my favorite character of all time, so I hope I do it justice in the way it's done me justice in my life. And then we're going to uh, we're going to have a new series on the channel, Sequel versus Sequel, where it's essentially going to be me and another creator. We're going to have a movie that you folks pick, and we're going to see who can write a better sequel to it. And we'll just pitch our ideas in about 8 to 10 minute segments. So, yeah, if there's any creator you know who you would love to see on this, definitely go ahead, let me know, put it in the chat, or send me an email, or even better, comment on their page. Comment on their page or comment on their videos. Let them know, and hopefully we'll get something soon. I think that'd be a lot of fun. One last one from Ivan Sanchez. A bit still annoyed hearing celebrities voicing Smurfs. It's not even, I don't mind if a celebrity voices a Smurf, but I feel like a lot of voice actors take these roles for granted, where it's like, hey, it's just a silly movie. We're not gonna, why? I'll just go into the sound booth, the recording booth, do a couple hours, get paid, and get out of here. So